Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
They're polite. They just take the time for you.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
I like the Angels for what they've done for me.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching. Thanks as always to the producer and editor of our series, Jeff Durall. We're at the Robbins Center on the campus of Fort Hays State University and the Fort Hays State University Foundation with the director, Jason Williby, CEO of the Fort Hays State University Foundation, our Community Connection. Well, a big announcement has taken place now, Jason. The foundation announcement about the campaign. Tell us about it.
Well, we're really excited. The Journey campaign launched this week. It's a fundraising effort to make Fort Hays exceptional. We are probably being in it about 5 years, and we have some wonderful co-chairs, Jessica Thompson and Tyler Thompson from Kansas City, as well as Steve Shields from Manhattan, Kansas. All three Tiger supporters, and with President Martin's leadership, we're excited to get started.
How is it historic for Fort Hays State University?
It's historic in the size of the campaign. We're going to attempt to raise $100 million over the next 5 years. And we feel like that's the right number right now based on state funding cuts. Private dollars have just never been more important to public education than they are right now. And that's the same for K through 12 as it is for higher education. And with other schools are having similar size campaigns and larger at the larger Division I schools. So we feel like we can do this. We feel like our donors are bought in and ready for this. And we think we're going to make a great impact on Fort Hays State students, facilities, and faculty and staff.
Well, now what about the greatest needs for Fort Hays in putting together the foundation number?
Well, the greatest needs are always going to be scholarships. With tuition rising, we just can't raise enough money for scholarships. Last year alone, we provided $1.8 million in private funds through the generosity of donors to Fort Hays State for scholarships, so we want that number to grow. We'd like it to double. I don't know if we can do that during this campaign, but I certainly hope so. And we've really broken the campaign into 4 pillars. The number one need is always going to be scholarships, but the other needs are programs of distinction, student life, and athletics. And programs of distinction is a large category that takes in each of the colleges, academic colleges, as well as the Honors College, the library, the Alumni Association, the Kansas Wetlands, a lot of things in that area. Athletics, I think, is self-explanatory. In student life, we have really 2 pieces there. Aspirational goals, I would say. We want to fund study abroad for students. We do that in not as much as we'd like to right now. Mm-hmm. Students come here with the promise of being forward-thinking and world-ready. If we can't send them outside of Ellis County, how can we make them world-ready? We have a tremendous faculty here that are willing to give their time and take faculty-led study abroad trips to other countries. That's an experience that I didn't have as a student, but it's an experience that we can give students today, whether they're going to Italy on an econ and finance trip, or they're going to Belize on a leadership studies trip, or if they're going to China for the summer. And those are important experiences for our students, and we want to bring private dollars to make those more affordable for them.
And talk about broadening horizons for students.
Absolutely. That kind of cultural awareness just can't be overstated. The other part of that goal, aspirational goal, we don't know if we can do it, we're going to try, is to build a Student Success Center. It would be another building on campus, which I know we talked last time, we're building a lot of buildings, some overdue. The Student Success Center would be really cutting edge. It would bring all of the student affairs pieces of campus, from career services to internship coordination, study tables, advising, drug and alcohol counseling into one building. Mm-hmm. We'd attach it to the union. It'd be open not just normal business hours, but late in the evenings, on the weekends, when students need it. And We feel like a building of that kind, bringing all the services we currently have for students, will make them more successful, drive up our retention rate, which is the Board of Regents' #1 goal for schools in Kansas. And more than that, it helps us fulfill our promise to students that we're here to make sure they walk across that stage and graduate.
Jason, that's amazing to hear. Talk about forward thinking. There's been a lot of forward thinking at Fort Hays State University over the years.
There has, and a lot of these plans are the brainchild of Dr. Martin and Tim Chapman, my predecessor. So we have a lot of great minds planning the campaign.
And thanks to the efforts of Joel Dugan in the Fort Hays State Art Department, there is a part of your predecessor that kind of looks over the location here.
Absolutely. We have a beautiful portrait of Tim Chapman here in the office, commissioned by Steve Shields, actually one of the campaign co-chairs. And encourage anyone who's ever been in the Robbins Center, step into the art gallery and take a peek at Joel's work.
So, with a fundraising effort then, why is it needed right now?
Right now, we can't overstate that private dollars have never been more important. We're going to continue to see cuts to higher education funding just based on the amount of money the state has available to fund higher education. With those cuts, we don't want to lose faculty. We don't want to cut programs. We don't want to drive up the cost of tuition to where Fort Hays is no longer affordable. All those things said, we need money for scholarships so that students can afford to come to Fort Hays State. We need to raise money for athletics, for band, for the College of Business, for the College of Arts and Sciences, for the College of Education. Every time the state makes a cut, there's a real consequence at Fort Hays. We want to make sure that any pain we can alleviate there, we do. And we feel our donors agree.
And you've got to do the funding to keep it a world-class institution.
We do. Fort Hays is a world-class institution. We want to help maintain that. And if we can drive that even farther, we'd sure like to.
And it would be nice if we could restore some of that state funding too.
It would be nice. That's not actually something the foundation can control, so I'll leave that to the politicians.
I hear you. How long a campaign, you say a 5-year effort?
5-year effort. So we've launched this week at homecoming, and with all of the donors' help, we expect to be there in 5 years.
So over the next 5 years, you've kind of implemented how some of the areas of the money will be used. How can we help? What can people do?
Well, I can't say enough times that thank you to the donors, whether they're alumni or friends of the university that have given back. It really does matter. Every gift matters. Most of our donations are under $100, yet we'll make a $100 million goal in 5 years. We will have press conferences for large goals, but from the person that sends a $100 check at Christmas, or the person that makes an online gift at homecoming, whether they help with Lift-a-thon when a student asks, or they come to the Tiger auction. Every dollar counts, every dollar helps. And some people don't realize how many different ways you can give to the foundation. You can donate your art collection when you pass. You can leave your IRA or stocks or oil wells or land to the university. Or you can write a check. And all of those things matter. We really do appreciate all the myriad ways that people give back.
And once again, referencing your predecessor, Tim Chapman used to say that, small donors are really the key, the core of the giving in whatever amount they can be.
They absolutely are. One of the things we're going to focus on during this 5 years is really building the base and including more donors so that we're not going back to the same donors for more gifts. We'd like more people to be involved, whether that's on campus, in the Ellis County community, or across the country. Our team of development officers, Jared Scheel, Melanie Bannister, John Armstrong, they're not just going to travel in Kansas. They're going to go to New York. They're going to go to Florida, Texas, California. They're going to meet those Tigers that have moved away, and they're going to find out what part did Fort Hays play in their lifetime journey, and how would they like to give back as well.
That could be expanded to donations from around the world, because Fort Hays State students have literally gone all over the globe in
Absolutely.
their pursuit of their then business and activities after graduation.
Absolutely. And as we provide more study abroad trips for our students, we expect to become even more of an international presence.
There's a story that I'd like to have you relate, if you would, Jason, about the background here.
Yeah.
The piece of pottery and the painting.
Well, the piece of pottery is from the Fort Hays art collection. And then the photo actually is by Jared Tadlock, who's a grad student here at Fort Hays State. I saw it with my wife and I were having a cup of coffee at Breathe Coffee House one Saturday. Brought it to my office. Joel Dugan, one of the art professors, saw it, asked me if I was going to have it framed. I said, of course. He encouraged me to hire a student and help that student become an entrepreneur. Joel hates the idea of a starving artist. He's an artist and he's never starved. He's proud to say that. And he tries to teach his students about entrepreneurship, which is a driving theme at Fort Hays. So he put me in contact with a young man named Tristan. Tristan came and picked up the artwork, was very detail orientated, checked in with me on what kind of glass I wanted, how large was the matting, was the frame stained to the right color, just very conscientious. So both the photo and the framing were done by Fort Hays students. I just think it's amazing when you're at a university campus, the amount of talent that you come in contact with every day. It's one of the great things about Fort Hays.
And yet the young man was so eager to please and to do the work that you wanted done.
He was. I think you'd have a hard time in most towns finding someone who does framing and matting that would come to your office, pick it up, text you pictures throughout the 1 week process of what it looked like, and then deliver it back to you. I think that would normally come with a surcharge, and this didn't. So very appreciative to Tristan.
And again, really was not even aware of the value of his work at the time.
He was not. He told me he wasn't a professional, and I said, "You are a professional. You just got paid."
What a great story. And an example, I think, Jason, of the wonderful involvement in the community of Fort Hays State.
Absolutely. If you were at any number of functions, you'll see Fort Hays artwork, you'll see Fort Hays students, you'll see our faculty and staff participating around town. I really don't believe the town and gown mentality that you see in some university towns exists at Fort Hays. It's Jared Tadlock, though, is going to be a world famous, if he's not already, photographer, and we're very proud that he's a Fort Hays graduate.
Let's mention the website for those who would like to find out more information about the foundation.
Foundation.fhsu.edu, great place to go to get campaign information. We haven't talked about it today, but last time we talked about all the buildings on campus. They continue to come out of the ground and near completion. The Center for Applied Technology and Sculpture will be ready for students next August, as will the new Residence Hall. Dane G. Hansen Scholarship Hall opened in August and has students living in it right now. And the beginning of Greek Row with themed housing will be ready next August. So if you want to see how those projects are coming along, go to our website. We have information on all of those.
And I think the alums coming back for homecoming are going to be amazed at the campus, at the forward-thinking, world-ready atmosphere at Fort Hays State.
I hope so. I'm continually proud and impressed by Fort Hays State. Just this is an amazing place to be right now, and I feel very lucky to be here. I hope our alums feel the same when they come back to campus.
And a vibrant and dynamic place to be too, Jason.
Absolutely.
All right, here's your pitch. In the last minute, make your pitch for donations in whatever amount, in whatever area folks can support Fort Hays State.
I would just like to say to anyone out there who is considering a donation to Fort Hays State, we value every dollar you give, and our students work hard, they're talented, they need a hand up, not a handout. A gift of scholarships could help change the world, so we hope you'll consider giving.
Well said. Jason Wilby, CEO of the Fort Hays Foundation from the Robin Center on campus, our community connection.
Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
And the Angel Care nurse comes to see me once a week.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
Angel Care has helped to stay home.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.